The Eagles confirmed some major changes to the defense yesterday after a practice that featured all the key stars finally back from injury. Plus, Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts, they seemingly squashed the beef during the bye week and are ready for a much faster start on Sunday versus the Browns. Oh, and there's this new report that just emerged suggesting the Birds could try and shop a key defensive starter at the trade deadline in order to help out the pass rush. I'm Thomas Mott. This is the Thomas Mott Show. With the Birds back at practice yesterday, do you want me to start with the good news or the good news? All right, let's do good news first. As expected, A.J. Brown, DeVonta Smith, and Lane Johnson were all back and also full participants, according to the Birds injury report. Although technically, Smitty hasn't fully cleared concussion protocol yet, but again, he was a full go at practice, so you can see where this is going. Everyone's going to play, they're all going to be back at full strength, and clearly the guys on offense are excited to have their biggest stars back.
Yeah, it'll be big. We haven't played with AJ since week one, and then lost Smitty and Lane, so those are obviously key pieces to our offense, so I think everybody's excited to get them back.
It's always good to have your guys out there. I jokingly said it's nice to see some familiar faces in there, but we trust everybody that's out there, and that's always a mentality when we're out there, but those guys bring a different level of impact with their presence on the field and what they're able to do.
Now, also spotted at practice, how about the return of Sidney Brown and Isaiah Smith? As we predicted, they were full goes yesterday, and according to a new report, might be included a lot sooner than we thought, according to ESPN's Jeremy Fowler. Brown, for instance, could be the team's dime linebacker this weekend if he indeed is activated. Another is the predicted takeover of DeJean at the nickel cornerback slot, of course over Vontae Maddox, also according to Fowler. Something DeJean tried to pretend like isn't yet a guarantee, but he also assured fans he's ready for the opportunity.
I've gotten more and more comfortable, each week, being out there, getting reps. So I've been preparing like I'm gonna play. So. That wouldn't change if my role changed. Just gonna go out there and still prepare the same way.
What's the biggest difference in that comfort level from the start of the season to now?
I think just getting out there and seeing it really. Seeing where I have to be in certain coverages in our defense. And just getting a feel. For where my help's going to be in each call. Knowing where my help is and where everybody is on the field. Just so I have a better understanding of how I can play my man and my different leverages too.
I think DeJean's tackling ability inside the box is the biggest factor in this decision, right? He could be as good, maybe a little bit better than Vontae Maddox in coverage, but what really matters is making open field tackles, something Maddox really has not done well so far this year. Now, another interesting note from Fowler's report included Jeremiah Trotter Jr. possibly getting a look at the Mike linebacker position, with Devin White, of course, gone, and Nakobe Dean showing up on yesterday's injury report. Now, Trotter was, by all reports, pretty impressive during training camp, not better than Bond or White or Dean, but he was known for his tackling abilities at Clemson, something that Dean has not done terribly well over the course of the past couple of weeks, and maybe is the reason why the door might have opened up a little bit for the mini Axeman. Again, Dean's going to start. I'm not saying that Trotter's going to be the starting linebacker on Sunday, but if the trend of missed tackles and mediocre play for Dean continues, Vic Fangio might not have any other choice than give Trotter a run. Oh, and also, as I predicted earlier this week, Jalen Hunt, he's going to see an uptick in snaps according to ESPN. Not a shocker, he played pretty well in his just 5 total defensive snaps last week, but overall worth noting. Also, speaking of all the missed tackles on the Birds defense, how about Philadelphia unveiling their new practice tackling drill yesterday to replace the recently controversial donut tackling drill? Now instead, Philly players are hitting this unknown Eagles staffer over and over again, and hopefully that makes a difference. What a fun gig to have. Also, shout out to Brandon Kobe, who won the Hertz Barkley t-shirt on the giveaway. I think it was Monday's show. Either way, send me an email, link down below my description box. Send me just a picture of yourself, sign in your YouTube account, and let me know which size you want. I'll get that shipped out as soon as possible. Also, look out for scammers. I'm never going to ask for a ton of personal information. You got to reach out to me first, not the other way around. Now, another interesting nugget that dropped a little earlier today was CBS Sports' Cody Benjamin saying to watch for the Birds to try and trade cornerback Darius Slay at next month's trade deadline, citing the fact that Howie Roseman prides himself on forging creative deals, and he was already prepared to part ways with Slay prior to the 2023 season. With promising youngsters Quinyon Mitchell, Kelee Ringo, and DeJean all in tow, there could be added motivation to change. Now again, it's hard to tell if Benjamin has legit sourcing on this or if he's simply assuming, and also talking about how obviously Slay almost left last season. He's getting a little older, so take it with a massive grain of salt. Still though, Slay's been under fire recently for not only mediocre play, but strong off-the-field talk with his podcast, joking about C.J. Gardner-Johnson's recent play, and just seemingly not very captain-like. And with Slay's dead cap rising next offseason, plus the bevy of corners behind him, trading the veteran cornerback, honestly, it makes a ton of sense. Now, I'm not 100% on board with trading Darius Slay, but I do want to see what Kelee Ringo and Isaiah Rodgers have. They're much younger, they're much cheaper, and could be in Philadelphia for the long term, whereas we all assume this is probably Slay's last year. And we already have a star in the making in cornerback Quinyon Mitchell, so you still have an elite shutdown cornerback on one side, even if Slay were to be moved. Curious what you guys think about this? Again, go down in the comments section. I want your thoughts on the whole idea of potentially trading Slay. One player who might be down is Isaiah Rodgers, who apparently liked a couple of tweets a couple of days ago suggesting he could go back to Indy. Probably nothing, but I'm pretty sure he's eager for a little more action. Still, though, teammates like Garner Johnson seem to throw their support behind Slay as not only a captain but a leader during locker room interviews yesterday.
He's a great teammate. And more I can say, he's a captain of our team. We listen to him, we follow him, and just try to hope we get a Super Bowl this year to make sure that he can go out with a bang, being on his last couple of years and how we want to play it. But to take care of our vets and making sure that they know they got a safe haven here.
Now, also worth mentioning, and this is purely speculation, was the same CBS Sports' Cody Benjamin suggesting the Birds could trade for edge rusher Von Miller, who, despite his age, has had an impressive season so far with the Bills. Benjamin added that, quote, the Eagles probably shouldn't be in the business of aging defenders, but they badly need pass rush, and Miller, though suspended until Week 8, was a Pro Bowler under Vic Fangio in Denver. Personally, I think Miller at least fits the scheme well, but really only makes sense if the Birds win a lot over the next few weeks before that deadline on November 5th. They have got to prove to us they're legit contenders, because if they're, say, hovering around 500, there's zero reason to give up any sort of assets for the aging Miller. Still, though, they do need pass rush help, and this feels like a trade that would make sense, whether it's Miller or somebody else. Again, give me your thoughts down below. Take it all with a massive grain of salt. I got to say that time and time again because I know I'm going to see the comments, but still, let me know what you guys think about what the Eagles could do in really a couple weeks before the NFL trade deadline. Now, when it comes to getting back on track and actually winning versus the Browns, I got to admit, yesterday's press conferences were exactly what I was hoping to hear, as Nick Sirianni confirmed a lot of self-reflection and a lot of change expected, not just from personnel like we said, but with play calling and, most importantly, scheme as well.
We definitely have some thoughts of we know we got to start faster. We know we got to score in the first quarter, so everything was on the table with as far as the style of plays, the players, how we call it, how the defense looks to open things up. And I had some good thoughts. We have some really good thoughts coming out of it. Obviously, not going to get into specifics. You'll see how that transpires. We put ourselves. Again, like I said about the bye week, there's just so much room for growth.
Play calling, slow start, scheme, or tackling. I mean, a lot of issues have plagued Philadelphia right now, but they just don't seem to be on the same page. And a bye week is a perfect time to take a step back, reflect on what you're doing wrong, cough, cough, Sirianni, and try and make sure that you are not the reason the Eagles are losing. And again, it's a lot of talk. We need to see actual action on Sunday, but it sounds like the head coach did just that. And if that sounded good, how about Jalen Hurts' comments, not only on the slow start and fixing things, but we just asked specifically about Nick Sirianni and that kind of rumored broken relationship. And this right here is the best Sirianni answer I've heard Jalen Hurts give maybe in his entire career.
This is probably, I say, one of the most efficient bye weeks I've been a part of this year, with my career, just been able to, like I said, share those moments and talk through some things and build.
What do you guys talk about? What made the moments great?
I don't want to get too into it, but some great moments. Well, we're the two leaders of the team, and I'm happy and fortunate that we were able to come together in harmony and have the same goal in mind and trying to get this thing right. I got a ton of confidence in him, a ton of confidence in what he brings and everything he's been able to accomplish, and just continue to press on that. Everybody goes through different moments. Everybody experiences adversity, but we've experienced different levels of adversity together, and we're excited for what's to come.
You really felt like it was a key thing. Like you guys needed to kind of have this summit? I
felt like it was something that just happened.
Again, those are words, and if we come out flat on Sunday and look no different than the Bucs lost, then it's all for naught. But this is exactly what, again, we've been wanting to hear. A mending of relationships, a hard look in the mirror, changing things up that were not working. Again, that's what bye weeks are for, and it's not like the Eagles at least have tried to make the most of it during this bye week. And again, it's worth noting you're playing the Cleveland Browns on Sunday, and knock on wood, hopefully you don't make Deshaun Watson look like the elite player that he was, like 5-6 years ago, but this is the perfect team to get right against. The perfect team to have multiple turnovers, multiple sacks, look really solid on defense, and likewise, play well against a pretty good defense, right? We got to be honest about the Browns. As bad as they've been on offense, the defense is still, at least probably top 15 in the National Football League. And if the Eagles get off to a fast start, win by double digits, it might be the game that kind of pivots things back in the right direction, gets fans back involved, mends any sort of locker room issues, and again, I'm being glass half full here, but hopefully gets the Eagles back on track. And we have plenty more stuff happening the next couple of days and weeks. Keep an eye on all the injury reports, who's going to be in, who's going to be out. Cleveland Browns had like 20 people on their report yesterday. Going to keep an eye on that as well. Make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe. Stay tuned. I'm Thomas Mott. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.